Greetings, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine. I'm good. Yeah, I would say so.
Okay, so for the people who don't know about Magdalen and everything, can you briefly introduce yourself and what do you do?
Yeah, sure. I'm Hannah Hamilton. I'm the editor-in-chief of the Magdalen Magazine. If you don't know, the Magdalen is DUSA's student magazine. So it's run by students and it is for students. It's been going for like 15 years now, which is kind of crazy. I know, it's really weird. We go through a long writing process and we also have a design process, and the end product is like this beautiful little, I want to almost call it like a book because it has like a lot of work that we put into it. So it's really nice. It's cool.
All right, so aside from you, because obviously you have a team below you who does, maybe like graphic design, maybe like writing, maybe chipping in some other ideas. So can you briefly like give a background of like who are the people behind Magdalen Magazine other than you?
Yeah, for sure. So we have a massive team. Not everyone writes or designs for every issue, but the total team I think is somewhere about like 80, and it gets bigger all the time, but people drop off. You know, it's not always like everyone contributing to every issue. The people that contribute to every issue make the whole thing possible. As the senior team, so that would be myself, my deputy editor-in-chief, Ariana de Prosperous. There are two fantastic creative directors who like completely, like this wouldn't be possible without them, Luna Jezzard and Afia Zaman. And then we have our editors, we have Eva Milne, we have Tom Christensen, we have Angus Coleman, we have Mona Lynn Eckel, and those guys do so much work. In fact, everyone does. It's a real labor of love, but there's a lot of people that make it possible, and it's a fantastic team.
All right, so can you briefly outline me and the audience as well? What's the process in making like the issue and like this issue? How do you come from like, let's say, selecting the theme to what's gonna be in this what content's gonna be in the magazine? What's the design gonna look like?
A lot. I'm not gonna lie, like quite a lot. But the first thing I do is descend into panic. And then
everyone does that.
Yeah. I think it's the key, the magic that makes everything just so tasty. So our themes were decided roughly at the beginning of I'm gonna call it like term, but it's when I got hired.
So that will be like semester term.
So yeah, so
that'll be like start of the year, calendar year, like January, February, or it'll be like start of like the university year, like September, October.
It kind of worked out so that it was the end of semester 2. That's when the editor-in-chief gets hired.
March then, correct?
Yes, a long time ago. So we started the process kind of back then. That's kind of when we, maybe like May, June, something like that. That's when we started thinking about themes. So we did the hiring process for all of our senior team and a lot of our staff writers. And then we did a meeting with the editors to talk about themes and direction for the Magdalen and what everyone wanted out of this project. And also like what this project could just do for everyone, which is something that I really kind of want to highlight actually. Working with the Magdalen can do like a lot for you. We want people to give their best work because we want to showcase people's best work. Like I've been writing for this thing since like first year, and it's so lovely to see such a massive portfolio of things made possible by people who just love what they're talking about or love what they're designing, you know? It's amazing. Process. So we have our theme. There is a little inspiration kit that is made, which we kind of send out to the writers. They then have a little bit of time to pitch to the editors. Pitching is kind of like just suggesting the theme and vibes of the article, how many words you want, and then the editor will say if we have space, if we don't have space, and then it just makes the process kind of like nice and smooth so we know what we're getting. And then there's about like 2 weeks of writing, and that goes from like first draft to final draft. During which time we try and have writers' rooms, which is just a space to allow everyone to kind of brainstorm together, because collaborative work is so much easier than just sitting in a room alone, like panicking, you know? So we try and avoid that as much as possible. It then gets sent away to our designers who start their I think of it as like a magical process, but in truth, there's a lot of like science and empirical like quality to it. So they have time to choose the articles that they feel they enjoy, and then they have time to design them. And then after that, our wonderful creative directors who just pour out amazing amounts of work. I mean, I go through and like check all of the writing three or four times, but they are like so precise. So they will go through everything and just make sure it looks beautiful, which is like, we want to give people the best reading experience, and we want to showcase everything best we can. And once everything is looking like perfect, then it gets sent off to the printers.
As far as you're aware, how many times does the printer fail on you? If you can remember, off the top of your head.
Oh my gosh, so this is my first year as editor-in-chief, right? But I remember last year we had an absolute nightmare with HelloPrint. Like, that's a printing company that we use because the university doesn't have the facilities that we need for this particular type of printing. And oh my gosh, it was like, there's something about the art check got done wrong. We had an issue coming in like a different size. Even just this year, so I ordered the 107, and on the day that it was meant to be delivered, they sent me like a thing that was like, oh, it's not coming. Oh. And I was like, cool, that's great.
Well, at least you're safe via the online copy, right? At least, at the very least.
Yeah, and we eventually got it delivered and it was fine.
Say I'm like STEM. Let's say I'm law. Let's say like environmental scientist. We are not really known for like writing pieces, because I believe, it's more of like a DJ cat thing, and more of like an English thing, maybe in education, I guess. So how do people, like STEM, like maybe dentists or medics, how can they contribute to like the Magdalen Magazine? Okay, so anyone can and everyone should. I think it's so important that everyone, it's so important to the Magdalen, I think, to have people that are really passionate about what they're talking about. I think I've said that 100 times, and I'll say it 100 times more, because it is exactly like the essence of the thing, right? And we want people from every background. Like, our articles range, like, not just from like things to do with like art and media, which you absolutely can contribute to, even if that's not what your degree pathway is. Like, I strongly encourage people to diverge from like their academic course and just go for like something that they love, because when else do you get a chance to talk about that or build a portfolio talking about that? And I think actually one of my favorite articles that's ever been in the Magdalen came, I think it was last year, and I think she might have been biomedical maybe, but biomedical. I think she might have been, she was in STEM anyway. It was an article about whale fall, and it was beautiful. It was like poetry. I mean, it was so informative and like accurate and wonderful, but there was also something like really, really sweet and dramatic and just like really lovely about the way that she put it out. So I think you get really good results when you diverge from what you're doing normally. And if you do want to write for the Magdalen, we have all of our information on our socials, but you can also email editor.in.chief@dusamedia.com. We ask for a couple samples of your work. It could be an essay, it could be like a diary entry. Don't send me a diary entry. It could be anything, but just as something that like kind of like shows your passion and your style, so that we can like best place you and find the right fit for you. And it's also just so that we kind of know that there can be like a long form thing and you're happy with that. And if you want to design, then please get in contact with our creative directors, whose information is all on Instagram as well. And we do encourage everyone, even if you're not part of DGCAD, to design. Go for it. Okay, so when can we expect the next issue of the Magdalen? And can you spill a bit about the theme and like what's in the next issue? Can you spill that?
So the next issue to be published will be 108, and that was on the topic of transience, which was, I know, right? It sounds very woo. So when we were in like the think tank, when we were brainstorming for that, we were kind of thinking about like fast form media, things that like are in your mind for a second and then gone. and we were thinking about like, you know, the changing of seasons. We're coming into autumn, so it was thinking about that. And I'm really excited actually. I think it's really cool. In particular, I think the creative section in this one like really went for it. They really had something. But it's coming out. It should be the end of this month, hopefully. And then the one after that, we've already kind of like done a lot of the writing and all of the writing for it actually. And it's just off to the design now. So it's going through the mythical, magical design process. And it's on the topic of cause and effect.
Cause and effect.
Which sounds vague.
And very scientific, I guess.
It sounds scientific a little bit, doesn't it? Yeah. But we're very excited. Like we have a lot of stuff coming up. We're working on our Magdalen sales. We're making some merch. That's our fun project right now. Yeah.
That's like something to look forward to, especially who doesn't love merch?
Exactly.
So, last question. Do you have anything to say about like, oh, let's say follow us on Instagram, follow us on X/Twitter?
You should follow the Magdalen on Instagram. I just think it's right. I think it's good. I think it's a great way to keep up with the school and the fantastic things that people are doing.
It's the right thing to do in this university.
It's the right thing to do in this university. Follow us on, I think we're the Magdalen on Instagram, we're the Magdalen on Facebook. We have a website, it's called The Magdalen. And find our issues, like whenever you see one, grab one and come write for us or come design for us. Come hang out, why not?
Yeah, and also is it a free issue or is it like you have to pay a certain amount?
No, it's free, so they're just around campus. Yeah.
And with that'll be it for Hannah Hamilton. Thank you so much for taking your time today.
No worries.
In this very lovely Scottish weather.